Hello guys, welcome to a brand new episode of the Fix It Show. I have an amazing guest with me in the house, which is no other person but Miss Ehi. Oh my god, pardon me ma'am, I can't get the other name, so you just do me a favor and introduce yourself.
Alright, my name is Ehi Ogwiji.
Aha, you see? I would have gotten that at all. Welcome ma'am.
Thank you.
Nice having you here.
Thank you for having me.
Before I forget, nice outfit.
Thank you, you look amazing.
Okay, I'm blushing. Okay, so let's get to the business of the day, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm aware that you graduated with first class.
Okay.
How does it feel, ma'am?
Well, I could say that it feels great to finish from Nigeria's premier university with a first class in agricultural extension and rural development. And
Was that what you wanted to study?
Not exactly. Agricultural extension and rural development. It's not anywhere in my plan. I always wanted to be a medical doctor, so yeah.
Okay, but something happened another way and you found yourself
there.
Okay, so if I may ask, ma'am, how long did it take you to pass your SSC?
It took me two attempts. Yes, I wrote one in 2012 and the other in 2015.
How come you didn't give up?
Well, you know, I've always liked school. Okay, maybe not from the onset when I was in nursery school. I was the very, the clingy kid who went everywhere with her mother. So when it was time to get to school, it was difficult for me to be detached from my mother. But by the time I got to school and I learned how to read. And then I could read stories and novels and all of that. I think it became very interesting. So the desire to get to the apex of education, to get to the point where there are no other certificates to acquire, it kept me going. Yes.
Pretty interesting.
Yes.
You don't look like a dull student, and from what I've gathered, you are not one. Well, what do you think would be the reason for your failure?
Well, I think those consecutive failures were very, very pivotal for me to have learned something very important.
I'm glad you learned from it.
Yes, I always thought students who were constantly behind the class were the unserious ones who did not give much time to study, like the rest of us who always emerged top in the class. But putting all my best, doing a little extra and still failing, it taught me empathy for these people who were lagging behind. And if you put them in my position under me to kind of coach or train them, I'll be milder. I used to be very strict and all of that. I'll be milder.
Well, I get it. I can relate actually.
Really?
You graduated with a first class, studying a course you never wanted, after reciting for exams over and over again, and then boom, you ended up with the first class.
Oh well,
like how did you do it?
It wasn't a boom thing. It took a process of first of all accepting that I couldn't make it, getting over the self-esteem of failing consecutively, and then settling for it. And I wasn't the kind of student who grouped my courses into required, compulsory, and elective. I gave it all attention, all my courses attention. I wanted to have an A in all of my courses, so I pressed hard. I just did my best because I hate to fail. I felt like if I didn't make it to medicine, I should make good grades just to compensate myself, and
Yeah, I think that's a good way actually.
Yes.
Okay. So if you were to advise someone who finds his or herself in your situation, like to study a course the person never wanted, what will you tell the person?
Well, a good number of us, there are some of us who are hard-headed people who stubbornly want to push through. And if you're a spiritual person, I don't want to say religious person. If it's a spiritual person, it could be one of the ways that God matches the brakes for you. Is to calm down, slow down, and redirects you.
I think I like that.
And say, okay, this is where you should be. This is where you can find me. Find purpose easily, fulfill purpose easily. I think you shouldn't really feel bad that you did not get what you want. Sometimes what you want might not be actually what you need.
Definitely. We keep hearing that every day. So if a job doesn't come in your field of study, what else can you do?
Of course, I want to have multiple streams of income. So I could, of course, turn to my skills and talent and entrepreneurial ventures, so I could, level up. And for now, actually, I do freelance writing. So it's something else that's taking my time.
Agricultural science and extension. Well, oh my God, I can't relate at all.
It's the way things go. I believe that we humans are kind of like pulling grains. I know you have a science background, so you understand what I mean. So the wind can just blow you this way to one side, I write everything from unique business profiles to search engine optimized content to lead generating copies and pretty much everything in between.
I'm blown out already.
I love versatile people. I used to be the person who would concentrate on one thing, die on it, this professorial kind of whatever that you concentrate on a niche and know it in total. I was that kind of person, but I got to see that it was very important for me to be versatile, so I decided to branch out, and then I'm learning a lot of things.
And that's really good.
Yes,
that's really good. Okay, ma'am. So from what we have discussed thus far, I can see that throughout your days in the university, trying to bring out your best class, there was a part of you that you wanted, not what you were studying at that moment. So can I say now that you have become what you have always wanted to be?
Well, I would say that in the end, I am happy with what I have become. And I do not think this is the apex or zenith of it. So there's still more. There's still a process that's underway. But at this level that I am, I'm grateful and I'm happy really that no much pressure from parents and all of that.
Okay, so there were points when pressure came in and
there wasn't as much support as
it should be.
Yes, as I now have it.
Okay, currently you have?
Yes, I do have a lot of support from my parents.
My God! This is amazing.
Actually,
of course it is, man.
Every morning, I make sure my family enjoys a healthy breakfast of cereal mixed meal made from sprouted soybeans, whole grains, carrots, and other nutritious ingredients. It is rich in antioxidants, essential minerals, and vitamins for a healthy heart, strong immune system, and mental development in children. Cereal mixed meal is also good for people on special diet for diabetes or high blood pressure.
Cereal mixed meal, completely natural, highly nutritious.
I've gathered thus far you are a very creative person. Okay, so can we know a little about it?
Okay, I am into writing, and much of this creative side of me is poured into writing. So I love to write poems. Yes, and I have a chapbook, a poetry chapbook that was published last year. It's called Icebreaker. I am working on several of them, and still stemming out of this creative side of me. I figured that we needed to find a way to put poetry in our daily lives. So I came up with having parts of my poems as inscriptions on shirts, on hoodies, on sweatshirts, steel shirts, and on tote bags, and several other items that could be picked up and used at home and worn around. And I think it has been a very interesting journey so far.
Okay, so hope you brought one of these to grace this event with.
Oh well, these things are always something that you can always we can always talk about it.
Okay, well. So this is a good example of you went to school, dropped the certificate, and then you are doing something else entirely. So if I may ask, how have your parents, like your family in general, come to accept this very part of you that has manifested all of a sudden? You know, perhaps it was there, but it never showed up. Yeah, like now it's what you are earning a living out of. And we know basically that writers in Nigeria per se don't really earn a lot. Yeah, so how have they come to accept who you are?
Okay, you know, writing for me has been like over like half a decade. So it's something that I started right from when I was in the University of Ibadan. I was a writer for the local press organizations campus. I worked for UCJ. I was on the editorial board for one of the years on the recommendation of my editor-in-chief from my hostel where I had served very well. So I've been writing for quite a while. And then while I was in school, there was a year that I wrote something that won that won me a year's tuition. So I called my parents and told them they didn't have to bother about school fees. Yeah. It was my way of trying to tell them that this thing is going to pay. You know, they've always known that I mean, I've been interested in art and literature and writing, but I didn't quite get the support until, yes, it started to bring back some money, you know. I won awards that excused them from some financial obligations and burdens. So right now they're very receptive, even though they don't read poems, you know, they're very receptive of my work. And when I say that I need alone time, I need to be by myself, have something to edit, something to read, they always let me.
Okay, so how can people access you on social media?
Okay, I'm on Facebook as Ehi Ogwiji. I'm on Twitter as Ogwiji Ehi. I'm on Instagram as Ogwiji Ehi. So if you type any of this into your search bars, you should find me. Okay. And you could actually send me an email. I'm an email person at ogwijib@gmail.com.
Okay, because all you mentioned here, it's more like people really need to visit and see what you do.
Yes, I would be very obliged. I would be very happy to you know, have visitors. And for now, there's a platform, ep04's literary platform, where I work with a team of 4 other young creatives, and we publish African poetry, original African poetry, prose and fiction, non-fiction, you know, and we render writer support services like editing, ghostwriting, and all of that. And I would really would be very happy if if I can get people sending in their work.
Wow, that's really nice.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, maybe I don't really know when next we might get to meet again, but you might do well to bring one of your works. Maybe those of your t-shirts or anyone so that at least we can see.
Absolutely, I will. Absolutely, I will bring them. It's a promise. It's a promise.
Thank you so much for coming today, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know, talking to you, it's more like I'm speaking to a part of me.
No, that's very interesting.
Yes, actually, I'm actually happy having you here today. Like, truly, I am.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, so I don't know if you have any word for the audience, those watching out there.
When you feel, you shouldn't just stay where you are. You should get up. I don't want to sound like motivational speaker, aspire and all of that, but you should really get up and you should be challenged till you have more opportunity to grow when you fail than when you succeed. So you should always look at that as a way to look inwards and discover some other parts of yourself. I mean, I discovered there was a whole lot of self-discovery that happened in those years that I kept failing. So it's very important if they can also look inwards.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
With this, we have come to the end of today's episode. In case you have a story you would want to share, you can reach out to us through the DM or the number showing on your screen. Till we come your way again, I am Anne Okonyi, your host.